be continuing our training on proper suit handling techniques. When using an animatronic as a suit, please ensure that the animatronic parts are tightly compressed and fastened by the spring locks located around the inside of the suit. It may take a few moments to position your head and torso between these parts in a manner where you can move and speak. Try not to nudge or press against any of the spring locks inside the suit. Do not touch the spring locks at any time. Do not breathe on the spring locks, as moisture may loosen them and cause them to break loose.
So, the Rockstar animatronics. Animatronics that had me and the entire community scratching their heads ever since 2017. So, what are they all about? Well, they have weird design choices, they're hardly even used in Pizzeria Simulator, except they are. This video will delve into the theory that maybe they go farther back than Pizzeria Simulator. This is the theory that the Rockstars are spring locks. Alright, let's go over the obvious thing. 5 fingers. I know this doesn't always mean that, they're spring locks. The Fun Times also have 5 fingers, but I believe that the Fun Times have 5 fingers mainly because of, the experiments and them looking more human-like. Something that William's an expert on. But anyway, so the Rockstar animatronics 5 fingers, 4 toes, and something that we're gonna get to later, all point towards them being spring lock suits. But if you look closely at Rockstar Freddy's and Rockstar Bonnie's jaw, it's not like any of the other animatronics besides FNAF 4 Fredbear, whose jaw is basically 2 parts connected by metal bars. Boom. They're even in the same place that they should be. And we see an endo right where it would be safe for a human to crawl into. So you can get inside Rockstar Freddy. Okay, don't take that out of context. But there's one thing that made me think about this theory, and that was the reliability risks. And the fact that it could be marked down to a 5. Also, for y'all who don't know what a liability is, it's basically a legal risk that you're taking. The Rockstars, Ned Bear, and Lefty all have liability risks. Lefty because it's an unstable animatronic, and Ned Bear because of an unknown reason. And you may say that it's a liability risk because it's Fazbear characters, but you are owning an official Fazbear location, which has been boarded up. So, we need to talk about Secret of the Mimic and the week before.
So, let me explain the situation.
All the way back in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, we were introduced to the fact that Freddy Fazbear's Pizza is actually a franchise location to a mother location. And if most locations, as in multiple, refers to just 3, then why not just say all locations, as in 2 or 3? But most? That has to be at least 15. Basically, what I'm saying here is, in real life, Chuck E. Cheese has unique animatronics for every restaurant. So, the fact that we buy the Rockstars, which are spring locks, if you go by this theory, and most Freddy's locations were discontinuing spring locks, wouldn't it make sense for one of the locations, also probably in Utah, to be shut down? That would make sense to me. And in Secret of the Mimic, we know that someone at MCM managed a franchise location. And in the week before, there are several locations that are unused and boarded up. And what do we see the FNAF 6 pizzeria look like? A boarded up, torn down shack at the beginning of the game, which we have to upgrade. That, or it could be Fredbear's Family Diner. because in the Silver Eyes, it is stated that Fredbear's look like a shack. But in the games, it's obviously not. But yeah, anyway, we're not using the books yet. But there is one stronger connection. Just compare the Rockstars to Springtrap, and the prototype suits introduced in Secret of the Mimic. So, Springtrap is a 5-fingered animatronic with a more humanoid body and 4 toes. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Yeah, the Rockstar animatronics, who are 5-fingered animatronics and have 4 feet. Also, don't ask why I'm looking at the feet. I'm not freaky. I'm not trying to say that I'm freaky. But anyway, when you compare these two designs, this doesn't feel like a coincidence. That, and again, the nightmares? The nightmare. Oh yeah, we gotta mention them later. But the fun times have 5 fingers too, because, I don't know, maybe William had some associating help to do with the Rockstar's design. But, not likely. That and the name Rockstars was something that blew up around the 60s and 70s. Ha ha, funny 6-7 number, shut up. First of all, but back into this. So, these animatronics had to either have been made by Edwin Murray or made by another company. And they have surprising design connections to other than just Springtrap. They have a design connection to the Nightmares and the Wizards. Let's get into those connections. Like I mentioned earlier, a staple of the Rockstar's design is the hinge jaw, something that the Nightmares and Wizards also have, along with about, half of the classic gang. But anyway, this creates a key difference. So basically, if I want to keep this short, the main difference between Afton's designs and Henry's designs is that Afton's jaws are more connected, which is why a whole lot of people think that oh my god. After all that, hey, this is the random boy, 15 minutes later and making pizza rolls right now. I forgot to mention the beta version of Nightmare Fredbear's Head, which is similar to the Rockstars. Anyway, back to the video. People think that he created the puppet and Balloon Boy and JJ. We still don't know anything about that. But the main thing that tells me that these weren't created just for FNAF 6 is something in the Rare Finds auction shop in FNAF 6. So, when you're looking through the Rare Shop's auction after unlocking it, you get a plate and party hat that are weirdly colorized like the wristbands shown in the same minigame of the same game when you played the security puppet. I thought that this was maybe coincidence, but it has to be intentional. That, and if Rockstar Freddy was really made just for FNAF 6, then how would there already be merchandise in a Rare Finds auction? Well, the Rockstars are in a completely different shop, so is Orville, and they're considered to be part of the Mediocre Melodies, so, that's not a very good point. So, if we think of the Rare Auction's name, we have a great connection between all of that and the Rockstars, showing that they were at least existing in a previous restaurant. That, and the wristbands and Ticket to Fun, point to this direction. Scott Cawthon is using environmental storytelling to tell us something. Something that he's wanted us to know since FNAF 6. That the Rockstars have existed at least since 1983. And yes, I know that this theory is mainly design connections, but it also brings a pretty good point to the story. So imagine this. These Springlock suits were used in a location, most likely pre-MCI. But after a spring lock incident that caused all of them to be discontinued, the Rockstars would be pulled from their location and put in a rare auction shop. But then another shop bought them, but the shop that they originated from kept the merch. And thus leads into FNAF 6. That was a short story, but when you plug it in, it does make a lot of sense. Because in the FNAF 3 phone call, we note that even after the bite of 83, which did some damage to Springlock suits, even though it not being a Springlock failure, they were still using Springlock suits at least until 1985. So that's a 2-year gap. And yes, animatronics can be made in 2 years. Some animatronics were made in 12 months, which is just a year, but I'm not counting as a year. But we are approaching the end of the video, and 'tis I say with a heavy heart, thank you for getting me to a 100 subscriber count. Thank you. Thank you for supporting me for almost 4 years. Thank you, everyone. I love all of you. And this has been the Random Boy, signing off. See you in the next video.